Hi, and welcome to the Starseed Kitchen Podcast. I'm your host, Chef Whitney Aronoff, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We are flipping the table, and I am inviting my podcast producer, Karen Silverstein, to interview me so you guys can learn a little bit more about me as a chef and as me as a person, as well as what Starseed Kitchen is, the blog, the podcast, and so much more. So welcome, Karen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. I'm so glad I get to do this because I am a very big fan. And over the past number of months that we've been working together, I have learned so much, not only recipes, tips, life hacks, everything. And I want you to share what things that I've learned and incorporated in my life with your audience. It's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And the reason I wanted you to interview me is because I think you ask just great questions. You know, whenever we're interacting just personally, you always have fantastic questions that I feel like relate to everybody. So I'm hoping some of that information comes out because it's hard for me just to, share facts and information. I do best when people ask questions.
Yes, good. Well, that's what we're going to do today. Very first, most basic, you are known as a high vibration chef. And I know like the many layers of that, but I feel like you should talk about that a little bit so that people understand and that it's not just a recipe chef. It's way bigger than that. So tell us about that.
So I refer to myself as a health supportive chef that cooks high vibration foods because food is simply energy. And what we're all looking for is a transfer of energy. We're all looking to consume energy. So we have the energy to go out and live our life the way we want to live it, live our dreams, be able to fully fulfill our days. And so when you're preparing food, it's more than just the food that you're choosing that's going to transfer energy to you. So it's how you prepare the food is going to affect the energy that gets transferred to you, how you source the food, and then your physical presence, your attitude when you're working with the food is also going to affect the vibration of the food. And then we have our environment. So we can control our environment a little bit by the music that we play, by burning sage, by not using a microwave or having EMFs around, opening windows. All those things are also going to affect the vibration of our food, which is going to affect how much energy you get from consuming the meal, which is going to affect your actual energy.
Yes, that sounds like a really good consciousness that everybody can have. There's nothing hard to do that.
Absolutely.
And I know one of the things that really resonated with me was when you said that the recipes and your attitude towards food, how it's prepared, what ingredients, etc., were always the motivating factors to nourish the physical, emotional, and spiritual body, so that you feel the best, right? And that you can accomplish like more when you are feeling that way. You can accomplish more dreams. So tell us like a little bit about that, like what that means, like what foods are like really important to do that and what you hope to accomplish with people's understanding of that.
Yeah. So my goal is to help inform people and give them tools so they can feel their best, so they can live their best life. And a great way to start is through food. But obviously, to be healthy and to feel good in our body, it's more than just the food we eat, because we aren't just our digestive system. We are in a physical body. We are processing a lot of things mentally. We are a spiritual being. We are really multidimensional. So there's a lot of different layers of you that has to get nourished in order for you to feel balanced and be able to have the energy and vibrancy to live your best life. And so that's really my goal in educating people through recipes and through food. Now, there are little things that you can do every day if you're traveling or you aren't in a space where you can cook all your meals at home. You can just make sure that you reach for lemons and lime or oranges and put them in your water to kind of activate your water a little bit. You can add magnesium or real sea salt to your water, and that can shift the vibration of your water and shift the vibration of you. And then one of the things that I love the most is adding an edible, high quality rose essential oil to your water. Rose essential oil is the highest vibrating essential oil. And so by adding it to your water, it's going to penetrate you as well and help raise your vibration, which is simply just going to make you feel better. It's going to help you, your mind, your body, your soul feel more connected within. Those days where you just feel really scattered, all those little things that you add to your water just help bring you back into balance.
Okay, better. So start it with the high vibrational things that you can do, right? Like where you started with the lemon lime, etc.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that we can do, whether we're at home or at the office or that we're traveling, that can help shift how we feel and what's also known as your vibration. So you can add lemon, lime, any citrus to your water. You can add edible essential oil like rose. Rose is the highest vibrating essential oil on the planet. So you always want to reach for one that's edible. Add that to your water. That can really help shift how you're feeling.
I love that one.
Yeah, absolutely. All these things just help you better connect with how you're feeling in yourself. And they're really simple to do. And then, of course, eating fruits, vegetables, real whole grains like rice, oats, millet, having organ meats or 100% grass finished or pasture raised meats, all those things are going to help shift your vibration when you're choosing real quality ingredients. And then another thing to always keep in mind is how those things are growing. So a great example is, look at a carrot. A carrot is burrowing underground. So you're going to get grounding energy from that carrot. It's growing underneath the soil. So if you want to feel grounded, if you're feeling a little scattered mentally and physically, then you want to make sure for dinner, you reach for all things that are grown underneath the earth. Beets, parsnips, carrots, rutabaga, celery root, all that good stuff is going to help bring you back down. Versus if you are feeling sluggish and you want to feel lighter and you want to be a little more energized, you want to reach for everything that's growing above ground. So beautiful leafy greens, kale, chard, think of things that are climbing. So green beans, anything that's moving up and out. So you can think about that with your food, and that'll give you some insight in how it's going to make you feel.
Love that. I know one of the things you talk about all the time is how we're living our life day to day, and what various ways that we are in the day affects what foods we actually need. So talk about, so many of us are now at home at our desks all day or on Zoom calls versus like a day at the beach. Like, tell us about that so everyone's really aware of how everything affects us.
Well, when we eat our food inside around a lot of technology, that our body is needing so much more energy than when we eat our food outside sitting at nature. Because when we're outside, we're exposed to the natural light. We're exposed to fresh air, to the sounds of animals. And our brain and our eyes aren't being inundated with artificial light technology, too much information. So our physical body is able to slow down, and we don't need as much food to fuel it. And if you're someone that really likes scientific studies, there are countless scientific studies out there that show when you spend time in nature, your digestive system slows down. You don't need to eat as much food. You're more satisfied with all the meals that you eat. And this is a simple experiment that you can try on your own. Simply make yourself lunch or dinner and go sit outside and eat it. And then another day, sit inside and eat it, and see how fast or slow you eat your meal, and how much more satisfied maybe you are if you eat your meal in one place or the other. Experiment on yourself. But what I have consistently found for myself and when talking to other people is when I eat a meal outside or after a long day at the beach, I'm much more satisfied and I don't need as much food. Now, when you sit inside, you are in a home with EMFs. You probably have internet, you probably have lights on, everything in your kitchen's plugged in 24/7. So your refrigerator, your oven, your microwave, they're all producing EMFs, this invisible cloud in the air, and it's constantly pinging your body, whether you feel it or not. And so it's taking and requiring your body to produce a lot more energy. So you yourself are looking for more energy in a variety of places. So you tend to eat more food that might be working for you and might not be. So play around and see how you feel when you eat a meal outside versus inside.
Great information. So I want to get to some of your sort of life hacks that will be simple for people to do. But I first want to ask you about the intention of the podcast. How did the podcast come about, and what do you want it to serve?
So my goal with the Starseed Kitchen podcast is to help bring information to people so they can live their best life. And the way that I do that as a chef is through food, but it takes more than just food to be a healthy person or have a healthy body. So I needed to find a medium where I could have a conversation about the physical body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body, and the etheric body as well. Because as I mentioned a lot, we're multidimensional beings. We are more than just our physical. We are more than just our mind, than our stomach, than this etheric sphere. And I wanted to bring people that can talk about those different aspects of self so people can start to explore themselves and the concept of wellness a little bit further. So people can find the modalities that can help them get to the next level of health and well-being.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And besides the Starseed podcast, you have something else called Starseed, which is called Starseed Kitchen.
Yes.
And that has multifaceted things, including products that you can buy on the website that are about this philosophy. So can you talk to us about what does Starseed mean? Why did that wind up being a word for you?
Yeah.
And then talk to us about Starseed Kitchen.
Yeah. So my website, I would say kind of the home base for everything me and my chef life is Starseed Kitchen, the Starseed Kitchen website. And on my website, I share the recipes that I use for my personal chef clients because I want to empower everyone to be able to cook healthy meals at home. I have a shop on my website where you can purchase the organic spice blends that I use with all my clients. I also sell a great high vibration cooking ebook. It's a great information tool that can start to help you understand what high vibration cooking is, how to choose your ingredients. And I have a great introduction from Shamananda on there that can help give insight to people. I sell my little Starseed sweatshirts and other products on there. I have a monthly astrology report from a galactic astrologer. Her name's Riley Calloway. She's extremely talented, and we post a monthly astrology forecast on there.
And she was a guest, right?
Yeah, and she's been on the podcast as well. She is really one of the most outstanding astrologers, and she does personal astrology readings and birthday guides. So she's really great. So Starseed Kitchen website is really the home base for everything. And the term Starseed Kitchen is multifaceted. So at the end of the day, I'm a health supportive chef, and I am trying to educate people to improve their life and their well-being through food. But just like what I talk about, that we're multidimensional, that we're physical, emotional, and spiritual, I wanted to give a name to my recipes and my website that supports that mindset. And so the word starseed is really layered in why I chose it. There is a constellation that is known as the Pleiades, and the Pleiades nickname is Starseed, and it looks like the Little Dipper. So if you were looking in the sky at night, you'll see the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, and then you'll see the Pleiades, which literally looks like a mini dipper. It looks like a tiny little pot. And so I thought that would be so appropriate for my website, instead of, being the Little Dipper Kitchen or the Big Dipper Kitchen. Starseed Kitchen sounds a little more inviting. And then another reason I wanted to use the term star seed is because everyone that is choosing to find alternatives to improve their health and well-being are really the seeds of change on this planet right now. So if you're going back to your roots and learning a whole foods holistic diet, you're a seed of change in your community. You're doing something a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. And that's amazing. And so I also consider the information that I'm sharing on Starseed Kitchen, on the Starseed Kitchen podcast, I'm considering all these little information bits, seeds of information that we're putting out. So again, another reason why I chose Starseed Kitchen as the name. It's so multifaceted. And, when we share little seeds of information that can help improve one person's life, they'll plant a seed in somebody else. And hopefully it'll be a chain reaction. And before we know it, everyone's eating real whole foods, pasture raised meats, traditional grains, all from sources that aren't using chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. And so it's going to have a chain reaction. Everyone's going to feel better. They're going to be happier and kinder, and our environment is going to improve, all with these little seeds of change.
Wow, that makes perfect sense. I never knew that before. I love it.
Thank you. I could probably go on forever as to why I chose the name Starseed Kitchen, but that's a good start.
Yeah, it's very multiple meanings.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I wanted you to talk about, just because I'm such a fan, I use it in cooking a lot, is let's talk about the spices that you have on Starseed Kitchen that you made very sure were consciously grown, consciously picked, consciously packaged. Can you talk about that a little bit and tell us about the one that's available now and others that might be coming?
Yeah, so I use about 8 different organic spice blends for my clients' custom meal preps. So there's so many dishes that I make, all my different clients. The one thing that is consistent across the board are the organic spice blends that I use for all of them. And I developed my own spice blends, one, because I wanted to use only organic and non-irradiated spices, and 2, because I wanted spice blends with no sugar. And that's actually really hard to find. And then 3, I wanted ones that are done with real salt. And I wanted to know the source of the salt, because salt's such an incredible mineral source for all of our bodies. We all need it in order to be hydrated, so I wanted to be able to control all those factors for my clients, because people hire me because they're paleo, they're gluten-free, they're lectin-free, they're anti-inflammatory. They can't just go out and eat whatever they want at a restaurant. They need something really specific for them. And so it was really important for me to create spice blends to support their goals. But then also I needed that for myself at home. Because when you go to the grocery store or a specialty market or a butcher shop, you'll find that all the spice blends there aren't organic, have sugar, use iodized salt, and sometimes even have MSG, caking agents, or natural flavors, which
Yeah.
natural flavors is just another word for MSG. There's no such thing as natural flavors.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how I started doing my spice blends. And I currently bottle and package only one flavor for now, only one blend for now, but obviously many more to come in 2022. And the first one I introduced was the most popular spice blend that my clients request, and that's 11 magic herbs and spices. And so I introduced that one first because there isn't a week that goes by without one of my clients requesting it. So it's simply a blend of 11 organic herbs and spices. I use Redmond real salt in my spice blend, which is salt from an ancient seabed in Utah. And I currently hand blend all the spices. And when I do that, I use Kundalini mantra music because I understand the vibration of food. And I know that my intention when I prepare food is going to go into it, whether I see it or not. And I want to make sure what I'm passing on to everyone that chooses to purchase my spices is a high vibration that's really going to support them and their well-being, make them feel good and taste delicious. So I use Kundalini mantra music when I prepare. And then after everything is bottled and jarred, I make sure to set everything with Giza crystals. So there's a special type of quartz crystal that was charged in the Giza pyramid in Egypt. And I put that with the spices to, again, kind of seal in the intention of what I set for preparing them and raise the vibration as high as I possibly can before they go to their future homeowners.
Amazing. Well, I can testify because I've used it. My family loves it. And by the way, I want to say that that product alone symbolizes kind of everything that you're about, right? And to be able to bring that into our own homes and cook with it, we're getting a bit of exactly what you're talking about, high vibration foods, even, no matter how we use it, right? Like I've been using it with chicken, and I was just wondering, like, I wanted to get to some of the like little tidbits and hacks that I've learned from you.
Yeah.
And using that spice on airline
chicken breast.
Chicken breast, which I never knew that term before, ever. And I'm wondering if it might be interesting to tell people about it because it does make it the most delicious dish.
It's so good. So I actually had lunch before we got on our call with an airline chicken breast and a salad done in my adobo spice, which will be the next spice that will be launched. But an airline chicken breast, if you think of a chicken breast, imagine there's a little wing hanging off of it. There's a little, like, it actually is a drumstick. It's a bone. And then airline chicken breast also has the skin on top, which is fantastic because we're going to really break down the chicken breast. So hang in there with me, guys. Okay. So let's think about the chicken breast. The chicken breast, we all know where that's sitting on the chicken. And a chicken breast kind of just sits there. When you think about the chicken legs are working a lot. They're holding the whole chicken up. The wings are working a lot. They're moving around. They're helping the bird stabilize. The neck's working a lot. It's holding the head up. But the breasts don't work that much. Like my breasts don't work that much, right? Like I'm not flexing them. They're not helping me perform my work as a chef or get around and grocery shop. So because they aren't working that hard, they aren't producing that much energy. So what I love about an airline chicken breast is it has a little piece of bone on it. So you're going to get a little more meat. You're going to get some collagen and other benefits from eating that little section off the bone. You're going to get the skin. Now, chicken breast doesn't have a lot of fat, and fat is what helps us feel satiated. So just a little bit of skin on a piece of chicken is now going to help make you feel satiated when you eat the food, eat the protein. It also is a great way of collecting the spice. So it's going to bring so much more flavor to your meal. And it gets really nice and crispy when you bake it in the oven or grill it. And everyone loves crispy, but nobody wants crispy with frying. So an airline chicken breast is great because you get that little bit of skin that creates the crispiness with all the benefits of just baking or grilling.
It's amazing. It's delicious. I have to say, it was a whole new world opened up when I go to the butcher and I say airline cut chicken. They're like, how do you even know that?
Yeah, and you can't find it everywhere. So I always send people here in Orange County to the butchery to get their airline chicken breasts. You can also go on to Jidori's website, and that's Jidori, Jidori Chicken. And you can order airline chicken breasts directly to your home from the Jidori website. But I've never seen them at Whole Foods. I've never seen them at Mother's Market. So it's definitely something that you need to go to a butcher shop for or order online.
I actually did go to one butcher at Whole Foods. All the rest of them looked at me wide-eyed, but they said there's this one person who used to work in a restaurant who may know, and that butcher actually knew and did it for me.
Oh, cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. It's hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so let's talk about also through all these different things you've talked about when you're about to cook, right? Make sure your energy is good, put on music or sage your kitchen, or the things that you just talked about, raising your own vibration with the rose or the lemon, etc. There's also a hack that you do in the grocery store or wherever, and I think it has to do with North. Can you explain that? And anybody can do that at home. You can incorporate this in your lives.
So it's so funny. I was just traveling with my good friend who's also a shaman. Her name's Shamananda. And we were doing that. I was even doing it with a shaman in a grocery store when we were choosing olive oil or salt or just trying to make different decisions. It's really something I do all the time. I don't care who sees me. I don't care who I'm with. And it never leads me in the wrong direction. It's always the right way. And that's simply by picking up an item in question. So if I'm at the grocery store, this is especially, great when I travel and I'm at new grocery stores I haven't been to before. And I need to choose an olive oil, or I need to choose a supplement in the vitamin section. And I'm really struggling between two brands. So let's say olive oil. Olive oil, I've already identified glass. I always purchase olive oil in glass, and it should be dark glass. Then I look for organic, and then I look for single origin. So when I've identified all that, I will pick up the bottle of olive oil, and to try to figure out if it's the right olive oil for me, I'll hold it against my chest and I'll make sure that I'm perfectly balanced. And I'll hold it against my chest. I like to close my eyes so that way I'm not distracted. And I just simply ask myself, is this the right olive oil for me? And you will immediately lean back if it's a no, or lean forward if it's a yes. And then if you kind of don't go in any direction, that's a maybe. You can choose it if you want to, but it's of no greater benefit or lesser benefit. It's just a full-on medium. I usually never go with anything when it's medium. I keep searching for the one that my body really knows is right for me. But I've been doing this technique for over 10 years now.
Wow.
And it really serves me every time. And you can start doing it with products, with physical items, and then you can start doing it with thoughts and decisions you have to make. So once you get really comfortable holding something and asking if that's right for your body, then you can start just doing it where you just stand still. You make sure your legs are wide enough, and you can simply ask yourself the yes or no question, and then see if that, question is right for you, or that decision you need to make, that you should go in that direction or not.
It's amazing. Now, I was told that when I first heard about this, I was told to face north. Does it matter when you do it? You can face any direction, makes it easier.
I face any direction I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you don't need to get your compass out.
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. I love it. And you can do it with everything. You can do it if you're in a store and you're deciding about a pair of shoes even, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've even done it with just different decisions I have to make. Like if you're struggling to figure out a hotel to stay at or a restaurant to go to.
Right. Like which
is
the right one.
Yeah.
Right.
You can just take a moment, close your eyes, and just say, should I make reservations at such and such restaurant tonight? And you'll be able to better listen to your gut instinct, because that's really all that it is. All the answers are already inside of you. But there's so much noise around us. And so sometimes we just have to close our eyes. We got to check in, and we really have to ask our body to show us physically the right answer. Sometimes, when I'm looking to make a decision, I'll ask my guides and angels to send me a message, but I'll ask them to hit me over the head with it. I will ask them to make it so obvious that I can't ignore it. And so if you're someone that's like me, that really needs the signs to come at you from all directions, this practice will really help you figure out, the things that you need when you're going grocery shopping, or the decisions you're making in your life, or, if you're struggling between two different spatulas at William and Sonoma, maybe this will help.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. That's really great. So one of the things that I think would be interesting about you, like what is one of your, wait, let me preface that. On starseedkitchen.com, you can find recipes there, and you can find recipes sometimes on social media or, etc. And I was just curious, like either a recipe that your clients always want, or one of the recipes that you love the most for us out there. What should we look for on the website, et cetera? What are your like one or two favorites?
Well, I don't go a week without making my chicken thighs with 11 magic herbs and spices. So not a single week goes by that a client doesn't ask for me to buy and bake the chicken thighs with 11 magic herbs and spices. That's on the website. You can also buy the spice there. That is like the number one request.
Amazing.
Which is such a compliment. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Number two right now is my kitchery. And that recipe is only in the Starseed Kitchen ebook right now. So if you purchase the ebook, which is on the shop page on Starseed Kitchen, my kitchery recipe is in there. I'm going to try to get that on the website within the next few weeks. That is a big request by my clients. And so kitchery is a traditional Ayurvedic meal. So it's lentils or split peas or mung beans with rice and lots of vegetables. I've tried kitchery at different, restaurants, and it's really something that you would be served, if you were at an ashram in India. And sometimes, or most of the time when I get it, it's more like gruel. It is rice and lentils and broth and like 2 broccoli florets. Mine's a little bit different because, as you know, I love vegetables and I love balance in meals. And so mine is mostly lentils, light on rice, tons of vegetables in there. It's super thick and packed in with all the traditional Ayurvedic spices that make it kitchery, which are all about digestion. So it has fenugreek, it has whole fennel seeds, it has turmeric, And all those are really going to get the digestive system going, as well as ginger. So my clients love it because it's so different from something that they usually eat. And they even request it during the holiday season when they know everywhere they go, they're going to be kind of getting the same meals. They love that I mix things up and I serve them or prep them kitchery, because it'll be something completely different that they can enjoy in the week. And what I love about this dish is it makes a lot of food and it's good for 7 days. It's one of those, and it's really easy to heat up. You just take a few scoops, put it in a pot, and simmer it back up. You can add a little more broth or bone broth. So that's definitely what's in demand right now. And then let me think of, and the next thing are my meatballs. I do paleo meatballs. So all my meatball recipes don't use breadcrumbs. And so my paleo meatballs are very, very popular. Again, one of the recipes is on my website, Starseed Kitchen, and it's also in my ebook on the shop page. Okay. And my clients have me mix up the meat. So sometimes we do ground lamb, ground venison, ground bison, ground elk, ground beef, ground turkey. You can use whatever you want. It's really about the other ingredients and the spices that you're adding in that, kind of completes the meal.
Perfect. Well, those are wonderful. I'm motivated to go find those recipes. Well, I feel like we just learned a lot about you and a lot of what you offer. And I will say that your podcast, when you're doing the interviewing, you're interviewing people that are either practical practitioners of things that help your health, or thought leaders, or many number of types of guests that are so interesting. So I just want to say you're interesting, and what you're offering to all of us is so great. And I hope that people tune in and learn from every episode, which is enjoyable and informative always. So I really want to thank you for what the seeds that you're bringing to all of us.
Thank you. Well, I'm so grateful that you get to help me plant these seeds. And the Starseed Kitchen podcast is definitely unique in the variety of people that we bring on. But we are all unique, and we all need a variety of things to help us find balance in our life. And so thanks for helping me do that.
Yes, my pleasure.
So any other questions before we call it a day?
I feel like I've covered most everything. What about you? Or is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't hit upon?
No, I think we're good. Any particular podcast episode you're looking forward to listening to in the coming months?
Abby O'Neill.
Me too. I can't wait to
Do you have a date for that already?
We do. Yeah, that's just in a few weeks. And then I need to schedule having her back on, because Abby's going to be doing retreats in Ireland in the summer. And from what people will learn when they listen to that episode with Abby, that she worked in Hollywood for many years as a location scout in Ireland. And so you have this incredible medium and spiritual teacher and guide that's going to take you to places that she has been exploring since the 90s, on an island that is just so light and airy and green and beautiful and high vibrational. So I'm going to have her back on so we can chat more about Ireland.
Yes, she's phenomenal. She helps clear away things that are holding you back and just wind up being a light. Like, she's incredible.
Yep. She really is something.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear both of you talking.
Well, fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Karen.
My pleasure. I loved it.